Okay, trapping. Some people think all you need to do is just bang a trap into a tree and whack it in and you'll catch possums, and they'd be right. You'll still catch possums. But if you want less escapes and you want to be a more efficient trapper, I've learned a few things along the way from other people wiser than me. When I started, there were really only two types of trap that you could get in New Zealand. There was the Bushmaster, which is from a company down in Christchurch called Trapper Cyanide. This is a very good trap. I mean, it's my favourite. It's solid, it's heavy, possums don't get out of them easily. Now all traps that you can use in New Zealand are called number ones. Anything bigger than that is illegal, basically. The old Lane's Ace and what have you, of course, there's still a few of them around. They were quite cruel, actually they were very cruel and heavy, but very efficient at catching possums. So with these, the surface area for the foot to come into contact is a lot smaller than a Lane's Ace, so you've got to set them accordingly. This trap needs to be tuned. See how it's so sloppy? So I will tune that. I haven't got my screwdriver on me, which is pretty slack. What that effectively means is that a rat jumping on that will probably spring it, and you'll have a rat instead of a possum. And if you're doing rat control, that's fine, but at the moment we're not. We're trying to catch possums for fur recovery. So that's the Bushmaster, my favourite trap. The other trap that was commonly available and still is you can get these from Morris Woodcraft, who is in Tauranga. It's called a what is it called? Yeah, it's a Victor number 1. Again, quite a good trap, quite solid, not as solid as the Bushmaster. You've got to really watch these, because if you don't tune them properly and keep them tuned, what can happen is this plate can come all the way down without springing it, so you've got to really watch that, so your trap just won't catch a possum. They tend not to last as long as the Bushmaster, and personally I believe I have more escapes than with the Bushmaster. But I've talked to other trappers, they swear by these and they claim they're a better trap than that, so it's a preference thing. And then you've got all the generic knockoffs now. This is a better one. This one is imported or has been made on behalf of basically Bush. Not a bad trap if you're just starting out. It's a lot cheaper than that. But my philosophy is this: if you're going to buy gear, get the best that you can and it will pay for itself very quickly. These traps tend to bend out of shape reasonably quickly and lose their strength in the springs, so you start getting escapes. So the average possum is worth, what, about $4 plucked. If you're after skins, it can be quite a lot more. So I'd rather not have escapes. Anyway, that's enough of that. And then there's Pest Off and Pest Master traps, and also I wouldn't, personally I don't like them, but if that's what you like, that's what you like, and that's fine. So setting a trap, pretty straightforward. Learn to set your trap on your knee. It's just going to speed things up. Keep your fingers out of harm's way. So there we go. If that trap springs now, it can't catch me because that plate's up. I mean the jaw's up. Lift your plate up and it's ready to go. Again, that plate, if you can see, is not dead level. Get as level as you can. So have your hand or fingers under the plate, under the jaw, and just bring it down. There we go. It's nice and level. Next thing to do is the placement of your trap. Is that you want to imagine a possum up on its hind legs. So he'd be about there. So you put your hand up on the tree at about that height, dangle your hammer, and that is where you want your plate to be. I do possum monitoring, and I did a course there, and when they set up the protocol, apparently they went around New Zealand and they talked to a lot of possum trappers to find out what's best practice. That's the trouble, see, when the plate's too loose. What is the best practice? What is best practice when it comes to setting traps? And this is what they came up with, and I've found it to be true. So there we go, there's that. Make sure your trap's bedded really well, so when a possum stands on it, it doesn't rock. If it's just sitting there like that, it's going to rock around, they're going to flip it over, and you're not going to catch a possum very often. So again, that star shape with a hammer, like that. Across, rather. Just bang that in. Set your trap on your knee. Practice at home or out in the bush or whatever. It's very hard on traps using your feet. It tends to wreck them, so don't do that. There we go. That trap's nicely set. That plate, you probably can't see it, but it's up a little high, so I'll just bring it down. About there. I'm happy with that. And then obviously whack your chain into the tree. I'm trying to get tangled up. And then get your flour. This ain't rocket science. Up on the tree, and we'll set that and we'll see tomorrow whether we've caught anything or not. I would imagine we will here, but we'll see. Now, most people don't hide their traps or cover them. You know, I've done control work in the past where you've got to try and catch the last possum, which you never do, but get numbers down to a very low level. And I've found hiding traps works really well, or covering them, and I'll show you that in another video. But for now, this should do. So just remember your placement of your trap. There's the possum up there. That's where his hind legs are going to be when he comes up on the tree. Make sure your blaze is obvious. Don't be stingy with it. You're out to catch possums, not to save money on flour. And probably the chain, just cover it up a little bit so he doesn't play with the chain or get caught up with it when he comes up to have a look at the trap. So there you go, setting traps. We'll do a